That's So Nova. If this is the first time subscribing, hi. So today we're going to today we're going I think I did the intro twice. Sorry about that. Today we're going to be making the Luci bag, and this bag is spectacular. We're going to be using hardware extenders that have nice links to make the bag a little bit more upscale and beautiful. We're going to be installing a zipper on a curved edge, and it's not that hard. You'll see it comes together fairly easily, and I'm using a Sallie tomato zipper end at the end, but there is a way if you don't have a zipper end, they do have instructions on how to create a nice zipper tab. We're making this beautiful pocket in the front. I'm using rose gold hardware and denim that I recycled and repurposed for this bag, and a denim cork cutout, which is really fantastic. You'll hear in the video that I did not have enough to do the back of this, so the back is just denim itself as well. So we're going to be making a couple of pockets, and the inside has one zipper pocket that we'll be birthing the bag from and remove any threads. And it is a beautiful bag. It comes together fairly easily. You can use an array of different fabrics. It depends on your machine. I can't stress this enough. Some machines can handle more than the others, and some people can do tips and tricks like using hop jumpers or attaching a walking foot to their machine. There's a lot of different methods you can do to help create this bag. But this bag doesn't have a whole lot of interfacing. If you're using woven cottons, you're going to be using like a Shape Flex 101 and some fusible fleece, and that is it. So it should be able to handle it really well. I went a little bit thicker because this is actually denim jeans that has a little bit of stretch but not a lot, but the material is quite thick. And as you can see, I have a seam because I use the inside seam as my center point for the bag. So this is what we're doing. In the video, I do not show you how to put the rivets. I try to stay tried and true to this pattern. And the pattern, there's no rivets. It's just extra bling. And because my straps are a little bit thicker, I decided to do rivet 2. In here, I do I take 2 inches and fold it onto itself to make a nice 1-inch seamless strap. Instead, in the pattern, it tells you to cut out 1 inch so that way it can fold onto itself, and there is not a lot of bulk. So if you have an issue with bulk on your machine, definitely follow the instructions there. Or if you don't have that big of a problem with bulk, you can always rivet it like I did as well. So let's get into making the Luci. Hi, and welcome to That's So Nova. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, I much appreciate your support for staying tuned and watching me. Today we're going to do a Sallie tomato bag. It's called Luci. I will post the link on where you can purchase the pattern, as well as I think they have kits that you can purchase as well. I have a discount code for 10%. It's That's So Nova. And then I'll put that in the description box as well. And that can help you get 10% off of the patterns. Her patterns are priced very, very well. And I'm excited to do this bag. I've never made it before. So if you see me rereading instructions, this is how my process is when I make a bag. So let me tell you about Luci. If you pick up the pattern, I have the paper pattern. And I love this opening. Luci is a stylish purse with a unique shape that catches the eye's details. In the pattern, you'll learn techniques for adding zippers, and you can choose to add a chain strap connector if you desire. This is the last bag Jessica made while she was living on Lucille Street. Luci was loosely inspired by the talented actress Lucille Ball. This is a nice size bag. It's 10 inches wide, 13 inches tall, and 4 inches deep. We're going to be using a 1/2 inch seam allowance throughout the whole entire pattern. Top stitching is 1/4. Top regular stitch length is 2.5, and top stitching is what you desire. So what we're going to do, we're going to create this bag, and I will show you. I will edit the video so you can see the bag before and after during the filming. Kendall's gonna have so much fun with this. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go to it. I'm gonna show you, we have 2 views I'm trying out. This is more of an aerial view, so you can see me actually construct the bag. And then I have this where you can see me make the sewing techniques. Oh my god, my nails are bright pink. It looks so, okay, it's the lighting, not me. Okay, so grab your water, grab your materials, and let's get started. I'm using Sallie Tomatoes, this lace denim cork, and I'm actually using denim. Because I got a scrap pack, I didn't have enough to make the bottom pattern piece. So I did when I'm making the top, on the back will have this denim as well. Because I'm using denim, it's a thicker material than cotton woven and thicker than actually the Sallie Tomatoes cork. I highly, highly recommend Sallie Tomatoes cork because her cork is really domestic machine friendly. It holds up from over time, and she has a nice variety. So I'm going to make the back of this all denim, and the front is going to have this beautiful accent lace piece with the denim and cork. And you can find the cork on Sallie Tomato. I'll list it in the link. And for the denim, I'm using recyclable jeans, like jeans that no one else wears anymore. And I decided to use it. So like, I love repurposing fabrics. So on this one, I was lucky enough to cut it in where it was on the pants, the inner seam. So when I interface this, I'm showing, hold on, yeah. When I interface this, I cut out the little, when you make denim pants, they have a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. So I kind of cut a V to reduce the bulk. So when I go over the seams, I also, if you notice, when I use a fusible fleece, I took the 1/2 inch off because denim is thicker and I didn't want to have a bulky seam. With this pattern, you're going to need 3 zippers. One is going to be the top zipper of the bag, and it's 20 inches. And we're going to be curving out the edges. So you see me having right now, why was I going to say bobby pins? I'm telling you, I'm off today. You're going to have your nice pins in there or your clips to hold that down so we can sew it in place. We're going to be using purse feet. And then we're going to have the bottom zipper, which is 16-inch zipper. And then there is a zipper we have for the inner lining. We're going to be using chains today for our straps. And we'll be using a zipper end cord. So that way we can have it all together, ready to go. And I'm just going to scoot over and get the screwdriver real quick. So that way I can make sure I have everything together. All right. So I'm going to put my hardware right here. And we're going to get started. Have your water ready so you can stay hydrated during the video and during sewing. I feel like this is going to be a relatively fun and quick sew, but I know for a fact that what's quick for one person isn't quick for every person. And just take your time, breathe, and you'll be fine. So I have all the pieces labeled. I have my interior pocket. I have the bottom panels. Let me move Lucy out of the way. And how I did the fusible fleece half inch all the way around. The pattern piece has a pattern that's on the fold. So what I did is I did not take away anything that was on the fold. On the top, I drew a 1/2 inch line all the way across and then down where the opposite of the fold and on the bottom. And that's how I was able to make the perfect pieces that I need for fusing the fleece, because you could just fuse the fleece on there. If you're using cotton, it won't be that thick. If you're like me and I'm like, hey, I want to use denim, then we have to figure out compromises. All right, so we're gonna take one of the top pieces, and then we're gonna grab the bottom piece. And we're going to sew this together at 1/2 inch. You can use as many or as few clips as you want. Clipping it just helps tremendously. I'm using a 40 weight polyester thread from Amon. And we're going to sew at the 1/2 inch seam allowance. Just want to make sure everything's lined up nice and trim any excess interfacing. You know me, if you've been following me, I always have excess interfacing. It's just, if it doesn't have it, then it's probably not a Shinova video. Okay, so we're at a 2.5 stitch length. You can go a little bit wider if you're working with thicker material. And I'm using a narrow foot, a zipper foot. And I'm going to do 3 or 4 back stitches at the end of each one. And it's pretty, there's going to be some thick spots, just take your time. And if the material's thicker, you can always increase your stitching. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take some of this interfacing off on the corners so that way it just helps relieving the bulk. We're going to now, if you're at your ironing board, you can press this open. I'm going to remove some of this interfacing real quick. It's the fusible fleece. I just don't want it to be too bulky. No matter if you have an industrial or you're working with a domestic, bulk is an issue for anything. If you have a bulky seam, just because you could top stitch over it doesn't mean it's going to look good. You know? All right. All right. Now we're going to press this open. And I'm using a seam roller. And see, I have a little extra bulk in the middle because I'm using this inside seam of the pants as. Now you can pin this or you can eyeball it. I call it like the pancake method. You open it and you just start sewing on it flat. You can increase your stitch length with top stitching. When you get over to the bulky stuff, just take your time. I'm just going to go down a few stitches and go down the other side. Making sure that I catch everything in the inseam. This foot is a 1/8 of an inch, so when I'm sewing away from the seam, I know it's exactly 1/8 of an inch, but you can sew at 1/4 of an inch like indicated in the pattern. Okay. Trying to get this excess. Oh, there we go. And I like to just, after I top stitch, just reduce the bulk even more because these are going to get sewn together. So any bulk you can help reduce is nice. All right. So that's one panel done. I'm going to put this to the side. I'm going to grab the other main panel, and then I'm going to grab my 16-inch zipper. On the zipper, you're going to notice that you're going to put 2 pulls. We're going to put all the pulls to one side, and we're going to sew this zipper up. I'm just going to help with my ends, and I'm going to get some clips and clip the zipper into place. I have all these clips. There we go. And I love this, having the zipper a little bit longer, because you can put all the pulls on, not worry about it, and the zippers won't get in the way as you're sewing this. You're going to use a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, and you're going to stitch this down. I noticed yesterday, I've been looking at the Sallie Tomatoes advent calendar and getting mad at myself for not getting this year. It's really weird because I did make a post about it in the community saying, hey, that there's gonna Sallie tomatoes was coming out, and then I just completely had a blank. There's no reason why I forgot. I guess I just forgot. But I digress. They had last night. I have to see tonight. So last night they had a it was like a faux leather, but it's lightweight, and it was blue, and I guess the project is tonight, so I want to see what it is. But I didn't know I know they have vinyl, and their vinyl is really domestic friendly, but they even have a lighter weight to help out. And I'm like, that will make a really cute bag. They actually made the Luci, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm making the same one. This is too cute. So we are going to now take the outside zipper pocket. Now the outside zipper pocket A, and we have outside zipper pocket B. So we're going to take A, and A is the shortest one. It's 4.5 inches wide, and the bigger one is 5. So we're going to take the shorter one. I'm going to remove the label, and we're going to put it right sides together. We're going to clip that into place. And we're going to stitch this at 1/4 of an inch. I always like to back stitch well at the beginning and end. It's good practice, and it helps lock in those stitches. I go back anywhere from 3 to 4 stitches. I'm using a denim needle because I'm using denim. So it's like a 116 needle from Oregon. I believe Oregon needles. And I'm going to cut all these threads. Making sure there's no threads on the inside. Okay. So now I'm going to just finger press this. You would take it to your iron at this point just to press this down. But I'm going to use a seam roller in lieu of a iron at this moment. Okay. We're going to head on to page 2, and we're going to top stitch this now at 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to clip this on the sides. I'm going to pull and make sure that everything's aligned, and clip this on the side so that it does not buckle up. All right, we're going to top stitch at 1/4 of an inch. And just make sure everything's pressed down really well and nothing's like bucking up. And just, I'd like to, oops, tug on the zipper. It'll be fine, don't worry. Tug on the zipper a little bit so that way it doesn't, the zipper naturally wants to just like cape in on itself. So that's why I tug on it just a little bit, but I didn't do a little bit. You see, you bared witness to that, but that's an easy fix because there's two pulls on here. I can just bring it back to where it's supposed to be. And put it back. So now we're going to take the upper part of the bag and we're going to put this right sides to the together, and we're going to do sew at 1/4 of an inch. If you're using vinyl, you can sew at 1/8 of an inch until you get the lining on, and then you can do the 1/4. Just make sure raw edges are touching raw edges. You don't want anything to not line up. Okay, and then back stitch. And if something's not lining up, make sure you have your needle down. Okay. Trim, trim, trim. Okay, we're going to grab now the pocket panel B and put it right sides of the lining to the zipper, to the wrong side of the zipper. Okay, 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so we're going to top stitch this. So just press it over onto the seam, onto itself, because it's going to naturally want to fold down. You're going to want to catch everything in the seam so that way the zipper doesn't go like try to buckle down on itself. So I'm going to grab my, this is if you iron that side, it will help tremendously. I'm just pressing everything towards going up so that way we can have an even distribution of weight, fabric, and then the bottom pocket is not going up, it's staying down. And I'm just going to continue to make sure that everything, the seam goes the correct direction. Stop with the needle. That's another thing with domestics I love, because you can have like the needle down feature. You can have it on a domestic as well. The Circle Moto has like this special feature that can do it, but for some odd reason, mine's always acts a little wonky. So I had to take it out, and then it's a whole thing. Then I got just used to like putting the needle down myself, so you know the drill. Okay. So we're going to bring both zipper pulls towards the center. We're going to stitch down at a 1/4 of a seam allowance down the sides. It's just above the zipper pull to the end of the pockets. You could backstitch if you wish to. You can make a mark with a chalk pen showing where the end of the pocket is. You know what I forgot to do? I'm going to trim this real quick. I forgot to close the bottom of the pocket, but it's not too late. I got excited seeing how the bag is already taking its exterior shape. So that was not a good move. And I didn't hold my string threads. Come on, Nova. You know better than that. Sorry if my hair is in the way. I have to get close to the needle. And my hair is just, it's big. It's just big. I'm going to close this panel up, back stitch. And you can see that having the two pockets differ in size by a ½ inch can help tremendously. So I'm going to go up the side here. You can make, again, a mark with your chalk pencil indicating where the zipper starts and ends. And you're just going to go up. Cross the zipper, and then you can just back stitch. And when that happens, now you can cut off this little bit of tail of zipper tape. And we have made little zipper stops and installed the front zipper, and it looks so beautiful. Now we're gonna work on the lining. I feel like this is like the perfect bag to like bring for the holiday season, and I'm really excited. So we're gonna take one of the lining pieces. I'm gonna put the other one aside for now. And we're going to take the lining zipper pocket pieces. On one of the pieces, we're going to do some markings. On this piece, you're going to make a mark from the measurements on page 2, step 2. You're going to create a box. It tells you to go in at 3/4 of an inch on both sides and 3/4 of an inch down. Once you do that, you have your T, and then you're going to go 1½ inch down. I'm sorry, a ½ inch down, and you have your perfect box. Now, the reason I said 1½ was because we're going to go 1½ inches down on here. I'm going to finger press to make sure I have my centers. I feel like centers are super important to try to mark as best as you can. Okay, we're going to go 1½ inches down from the curve. So I'm just going to put my ruler right here. I'm going to find my center on here, and I'm going to mark it. I'm just going to stick a few pins. That's what I love about cotton. I still stick pins in waterproof canvas though, so that won't move now. I'm going to move these pieces over, and then I'm going to, I like to reduce my stitching when I make this box. I reduce it to a 2 so it's nice and I can make a neater box. Now, I always tell people to figure out what works for them, because what works for the goose doesn't represent the gander to me. I know some people that will do like 2.5 and then reduce their stitching just on the sides. There are some people that don't even need to sew on the sides, and I'm always jealous of them. I'm always jealous of them because I feel like I have to, or it doesn't work out. And always stop with the needle down. And back stitch. All right. And I'm going to change my stitch length back to the 2.5. Remove the pins, and then we're going to cut. I drew a dotted line right across here, so that way I knew with this ½ inch box what 1/4 of an inch is the middle. You don't have to do that. It just, sometimes I notice that visual learners, it helps a lot to draw things out, so that way you have the exact measurements and it's easier. So we're going to cut into, make a V. You're going to go as close as you possibly can to your thread to your stitching, but not cutting through it. Just like a hair away. If you accidentally cut into your stitching, I would recommend to go 1/8 of an inch more on the across, like make the box again and do 1/8 of an inch around, so that way your pocket's even. It's not the end of the world, but it's super annoying when that happens, and we all do it. All right, we're gonna crease that. Before I turn the pocket in, this is just something that I do. I just try to crease it. If you had an iron, you could just iron it on. But when you do this ahead of time, it kind of prepares the fabric to go into itself. So here we go. I'm going to turn this inside out. Nice, no puckers, nothing. So I'm just going to roll this. And if you have an iron, then this part will just be easier on you. If you don't, if you don't have your iron by you like I do right now, then I would just pop a pin or two at the top. I know this is not normally you hear me say use some double-sided tape. This is why you don't want to use double-sided tape on this top part, because we're going to be sewing around this box. And this box, the top part, we're going to sew 5/8 of an inch. So if you have double-sided tape, it's going to gum up your needle and it's just not going to work out. So it's better to hit it with your iron and you don't have to worry about it. So we're going to look at it at the right side. It looks like a face. Why are you so serious? So we're going to now use double-sided tape because we're going to add the zipper. I'm going to use 1/8 of an inch, and it's a hot mess because it fell on the floor when I was sweeping, but at last we're going to use it and it's going to work just fine. Nobody will know. Nobody. I promise you my snips go missing like all the time. All the time. Okay. I just had them. That's the part that's hilarious. And not. I think my room has like a vortex sometimes and just wants to eat fabric and scissors. Alright, so we're going to use 1/8 of an inch. We're going to go across. And you now position your zipper pull how you want it. Some people like it going to the left. Others like to go going to the right. There's no wrong or right answer to this. There's no rule book. So whatever you do, it'll be just perfect. Sorry, I'm trying to get this one piece of fur. So I'm going to take it, bring this to the back. You also could pin this if you wish as well. And I'm just going to position this as best I possibly can. And go bring it to the front and just fine tune it. Alright, we're going to sew all the way around the box to encase the zipper, and you can increase your stitch length back to 2.5 or you can go back to 2. It's really up to you. Okay. I'm gonna move this, go down. We're just going 1/8 of an inch all the way around the box. If you don't have your zipper pull, just stop, put the needle down, and reposition the zipper. Sometimes I like to backstitch right over the where the middle is, because that's the area that's going to have the most tension when the zipper gets open and closing. All right. Moving all the strings. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these two pins and move them out of the way for right now. And then I'm going to place these two together. But first I need to iron up a half an inch, but since I don't have the iron, I'm going to show you what plan B is. Plan B is to take whatever that sound was. My husband or my kids are doing something upstairs. I'm going to use 1/8 of an inch tape, and I'm going to draw a ½ inch up. I'm just using a pin. And I'm going to take my 1/8 of an inch tape and put it, you can use Dritz wash away. It works really good. It doesn't gum up the needles. And this doesn't have to be a permanent stay, because once we sew the pockets, it's going to be okay. We just need to create a nice, clean, cohesive look. So that way, man, that does not want to go. Okay. A nice, clean, cohesive look. So when we close up the bag, it looks really nice and professional. I was struggling with that for a minute. And I'm just going to fold up to that ½ inch line. You can go more. You can draw a 1 inch line, and it could be up like that. But sometimes I just like to have, you know, a little bit deeper pockets for all the candies. Same thing we did last time. Okay. All right. So now when we put these, we pin these two sides together. They're going to match nicely, and we have a nice closed off seam. I'm going to grab some clips to hold everything in place while we sew. So we're gonna go sew the full pocket across the top with a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. So we're gonna start on one side, and you can choose either side, whatever's comfortable for you. And we are going to sew. We're going to go back and forth a couple times, because this is going to be the area that we birth. So you don't want to mess with that. Now, this is the point, trying to see how I can show you. There is a triangle that from the bag we make. I always make it a big reason to try to go back and forth on that, so that way that area is nice and reinforced as well. I'm going to move this, and I'm going to turn it around, pivot. Need one more stitch over. And we're going to do the same thing here. All right, we have everything stitched up, and we have a nice zipper pocket, and then we're just going to open it up so that way it helps when we're putting the bag together. Now we're going to prepare the strap. Okay, we're going to so what you would do is you're going to cut a 16-inch piece, and then you're going to cut the strap down to 14 inches. 12 inches, I think, sorry. Yes, 12 inches, that was correct. And then we're going to prepare to make the strap. Let's see. I'm going to put some double-sided tape because you can and can't iron cork. I haven't had a piece of cork that I ironed yet that for over a year. And I have my wallet that I had to iron on something, and it's like roughly 9 months old, and there's no cracking yet. So I think you can put some heat on it, but after talking to a couple of people that use cork like only, they advise me to not. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking this piece, and instead of doing the 1 inch and folding it in half, I did a 2 inch so that way it could be a little bit thicker of a strap. And then we're going to sew 1/8 of an inch all the way down. Now, because this is thicker, I would recommend bumping up your stitch length to a 3.5. Back stitch at the beginning and end. Just gonna pop over a few stitches and stitch this down at 1/8 of an inch as well. Okay, we have our strap, and then for the connectors, we're going to do the same thing, except I have 1 inch and I'm folding it on itself, and I'm going to grab these beautiful they're absolutely gorgeous. They're just so lush, so elegant. And we're prepping everything for the final like construction of the bag. I love this bag already because like I'm seeing instant results already, and I love that. So I'm folding this 1 inch on itself so it can be a 1/2 inch. A 1/2 inch connector. 1/8 of an inch all the way down. I'm going to hop over a few stitches. Okay. And then I'm going to slide my connector on here on one side, and I'm going to make sure it's even. And then do the same thing on another one. And then just because I have my zipper foot, I'm just going to do a stitch across real quick, as close as I can without actually hitting the hardware. It's just, it helps keep the hardware from shifting or like turning when the bag like keep turning around and you're like, nope, nope. You could put a rivet there as well. It would help. So that way it doesn't twist and turn. But because of how these are set up with the straight edge being it's not going to turn. Normally there's like 2 little pieces of hardware that are kind of preventing that shifting from happening. Unfortunately, I'm just losing my top thread over and over again, but it's okay. Excuse the hair, rethreading real quick. There we go. All right. So we have these across. Now we have the strap here, but we haven't folded over on itself, and then it's the zipper tab. We're not going to be using a zipper tab. We're not making a zipper tag today. We're going to be using one of Sallie Tomato's zipper in cordons. It gives it a really polished finish and look. These plastics, oh my god, they always get the best of me. So we're going to remove one of these if I'm able to remove the plastic. It like clings onto itself, so it's kind of hilarious, but not hilarious at the same time, because you're like, okay, I'm trying to open this and I feel like a 2-year-old trying to get into a cereal box. But it protects the hardware from the plating. They put so much hard work in designing these. So we're with our 20-inch zipper, we're going to, you need to stitch across to make it go at a 90-degree angle. And I did that on both sides. I just used one of my pins to hold it in place. Now I'm going to go to the end of this zipper, and I'm going to actually grab some double-sided tape for this, because we're going to get this in to fold to go inside this nice cord that ended. I always want to prevent any fraying as much as possible. And I'm just folding it onto itself so it could be a little bit narrow. Just a little bit narrow. Then I'm going to grab my screwdriver. I'm going to unscrew this. And put the screw. I usually put it inside of something that's circle so I don't misplace it. And then I'm going to put this cord in. Now you can drop some glue inside, but the screw is going to keep it nice and content. See, that's beautiful. And we're going to screw in. Oops. Okay. Now we have our beautiful zipper pull. Oops. It's okay. I drop everything. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to sew the exterior together and then create box corners. So I'm going to take the 2 exterior pieces and place them together. And what I like to do before is I like to create box corners, the measurements on one side, and then I draw the 2 inches so that way when I get to this area I backstitch, and I backstitch well on this side. It's for visual, it just helps me out visually so that way I know I'm not, sorry, more excess interfacing. It just helps me visually so that way I'm like, hey, this is where I need to backstitch because we're about to cut these box corners out. Okay. We're going to clip these in place. I'm just clipping them. Getting seam to seam. Okay, so we're now going to sew a 1/2 inch seam allowance, back stitch well at the beginning and end. Let's see. I'm just going to roll this so that way it's a little bit easier to maneuver for myself. Make sure everything stays in line. You can always backstitch over area you think needs extra reinforcement. And we're going to do the same on this side. We're going to sew a 1/2 inch down. Seam allowance 1/2 inch down. Backstitch really well at the beginning. Gonna fold this so that way nothing comes down. Okay, and we're going to sew across the bottom using a 1/2 inch as well. Okay. We're going to now cut out those 2-inch boxes that we drew. Okay. And now we're going to box the corners. I like to kind of spread the bulk evenly. So I'm going to use some clips, some wonder clips, and clip those. And then I'm just going to do it on the other side as well. Because I'm already here, you might as well open up the mouths and spread the bulk. Okay, so we're going to take it over to the table. We're going to do the first stitch, which is going to be a 1/2 inch seam allowance. Back stitch the beginning and end. And it might be a little bulky over the seams. Just take your time. Okay, we did our first stitch. Then we're going to cut off the excess threads, and then we're going to bring it back over, and we're going to sew it at a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. It helps reinforce the bag. All right, and we're going to do the same thing on this side. Half inch. I know it's a little bulky. This is where you can use your hop jumper. Or like one of our group members said, use your sewing needle pack, and I have done that ever since. One-fourth of an inch to reinforce it. All right. So our bag has its shape, and then you do the same thing to the lining. So we have both these pieces ready to go. We have our zipper on. Let me cut that thread. On one side, we're going to start off at 1 inch. And the other side, we're going to taper off. Let's see. Feet. We're going to have, so what we're going to do is we're going to draw some numbers. Some measurements. Draw some numbers, Nova. So we're going to draw one side 1 inch down. Just draw a line. And I'm going to draw a line on the opposite side 1 inch from the edge. And then on the other side, we're going to draw 1.5 inches, and that's where we're going to taper off the zipper. And you just want to make sure they both match. So what we're going to do is I'm going to open up the zipper, and I'm going to put right sides, right sides touching right sides. We're going to start at the 1 inch mark. I don't know, why is it back up? And you can use clips, pins, whatever works for you. We're just going to go around this curve. You can also just clip it. You can just say, hey, Shinova, just clip it. It will go faster. I like the magic pens because you can sew over them. But clipping is extremely faster. And then we're just going to on step 2, we need to just trim the corners of this bag. I'm just all over the place. I apologize. Let me just turn this. It helps to see right sides to right sides. All right. I'm gonna remeasure put some chalk marks again. I'm sorry. I'm just, I messed up. Like when I did it the other side, I was like, oh no, it doesn't look right to me. So starting 1 inch in, I'm going to just draw a small pin mark within the seam allowance. And it all depends on how you want your zipper to go. Do you want to go to the left? Do you want to go to the right? On the opposite side, we're going to do 1.5 inches in. We're going to taper that off. Right sides together. I'm going to trim off these little V's so that way I can put raw edges with raw edges. It just helps. Sometimes when I have like the extra tails, I accidentally count the tails for part of the seam, and then I'm unpicking and restitching it. That's not fun. So we're gonna clip. Together, raw edges meeting raw edges. And this is like a nice curve to practice zippers on. It's not, it looks like it's more exaggerated than what it is. And it's perfect because you get that perfect practicing the U shape. So when we get close to the 1.5, we're just going to veer off, like kind of taper it down a little, so that way it doesn't get caught in the seam allowance. I'm just going to put a clip right here. So then we're going to stitch this down using a 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. And I'm just moving this out of the way because the bag is nice and soft and pliable, so you can really maneuver it and not worry about the structure of your bag. And you can move the zipper completely out of the way because we have a tail and it doesn't have to be in your way if you don't want it. Now with denim, I did interface the denim with like a Shape Flex 101 because most denims nowadays have some kind of lycra in it, and it will stretch. So I learned to interface the top part so that when I'm installing zippers, the denim does not stretch. I love the idea of repurposing older clothes to make them into bags, keepsakes. It just makes it feel like, you know, you can have a special connection with that bag. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. We're going to do right sides together. And we're going to clip in place. This side, we're going to be starting from the area that we veer off from. It's not, you're going to get it. It's just like doing the other side. You're just going to veer off from the beginning, and then it's all, oops. This is why you clear your side. It's all clear selling from here. Let's see, I'm clipping, and then I'm going to the area that I'm veering off from, and I'm just going to start there. grab my threads. Okay, and I'm just going to move this. Okay. And I love the shape of this bag. You can really get top stitching done, everything done, because it's really pliable, but you can see the structure at the same time. It's a beautiful thing. Sometimes I forget how much I actually really, really love fleece until I'm reintroduced to it, and then I'm just like, yes. All right, so for the connectors, you want 1/4 of an inch or more. Make sure it's just even on both sides to be sticking out. I'm just gonna put a mark on it with a chalk pen. Oh yeah, I dropped the other one. Okay, I got it. And I'm gonna make sure the other side has the same mark so I can make sure that the straps are even. All right, we're going to baste it at 1/4 of an inch in place, making sure that the tails that you have out. I made my connectors a little longer because I'm debating on whether or not I'm going to put rivets in it. But this bag may not even need it. So I'm going to center it on the line, and then from that area that I drew, I'm just going to stitch this. Okay. And I'm going to bring this over, and I'm opening up the seam as well to make sure it would help reduce bulk, you know. Okay. So, chalk pen. I just like to have my connectors be as like even as possible. Okay. All right. So we have this all put together. We're going to, you know what? I could have put purse feet on the bottom. It's okay. Feet gate, I'm not going to do. But you could have measured it out. You could still kind of do it in this, why it's in this shape. You can measure out like 2 inches down, like when it's like this, and put purse feet. But I kind of like it without it. I'm getting a very like bohemian chic feel. We're going to put the lining. I'm gonna cut the threads together with the bag. So I like the pocket to face the back. This, when I'm holding it, I want it to face this way where I'm able to unzip and put my hand in. I like it. If this is the front, I want the pocket to be at the back. Make sure your pocket is open so we can birth this, and it is. We're gonna take the lining and put it over the exterior piece. We're going to push all the hardware down. And we're going to clip. And we're going to just clip it all the way around. Oops, sorry, that just makes so much noise. I'm so used to just like tossing my bag around. We're just going to clip it all the way around, making sure raw edges match raw edges, because when we sew these seams together, it's going to be all over the zipper too. So we're gonna just make sure everything lines up as best as possible. Tucking in hardware, opening up seams. And taking our time. You don't want to like rush the process. There's no race. You totally got this. Just clip everything, and then we're going to put this bag together before you know it. Okay. Okay, so we're going to sew 1/4 of an inch all the way around it. You can have it go onto the outside like this, or you can sew from the inside. It's really your choice and what you're comfortable with. I'm going to go for the inside. Just going to make sure all raw edges are lined up neatly and have a back stitch. And just take my time because there's a lot of curves. If you have to stop, stop with the needle down. Okay, and when you get to the part that has the connector, you might need a hop jumper or something that can help level it out, so that way, sorry, level it out so there's no skip stitches. And for good measure, when I'm done sewing all the way around here, I might just go over where the connectors are one more time, like a scant 1/4 of an inch. So that way there's double reinforcement. Just be careful of your hardware. Okay, so I'm going to trim the threads. Don't trim the connector parts off. It helps keeps them in. You don't, and it's not going to create additional bulk or anything. You won't even notice it. It just helps reinforcement. I'm going to go back over back over where the connectors are and just stitch right underneath it, the seam, just to give it a little bit, kind of like the bag. You know how the bag was, we did a half an inch and then we did 1/4 of an inch. It's the same concept. Having extra row of stitching helps with everything. All right, we're gonna turn this bag, we already stitch everything in place. We're going to open up the bag, and I like to just grab a corner or just pull through, grab a corner and just slightly berth it. Do not pull too hard. You don't want to like rip the pocket. I start unrolling it similar to a sock, because I've had many times where I accidentally pull too hard and then something ripped or teared, and then I have to unberth it to make the correction. So I'd rather take my time and get it right and get into my own rhythm. I'm going to take the hardware, give it a nice tug. That's the great thing about this hardware, is once you do that, there's not like a whole lot of I just want to make sure everything looks good before a top stitch. And then I'll be able to take this and stick it in here. Oh, this is really cute. That is too cute. I love that. This is a clever pattern. Very cute. So I'm going to just roll everything out as best I can. You can use a, this is like a Sallie tomato, kind of like a stylus, or it helps. It's not really sharp, so you can poke out edges that need to be poked out. Sorry to shake you, my elbow just caught that. I'm just gonna shimmy onto this side and just make sure everything is good. Do not try to poke a hole through it. All right. So before I close up the pocket, I like to do my top stitching. And the way I top stitch is I turn my bag lining sides out and exterior in, and then I'm going to top stitch. Top stitching, you might want to increase to a 3.5. It's going to get bulky around the connector area, so just take your time and be patient. It's going to work out how you want it. The reason why I go lining side out, lining side in, is I can then really focus on my top stitching to make sure it's nice and neat. You don't have to do this, especially if you have really good tension with your bottom, then you can just do it the other way. I know, because you're like, hey, I just birthed, why do I have to redo this? But this is the method I found works for me when I'm top stitching. Make sure if you top stitch, when you top stitch, have the needle down. You take your time, and you're sewing 1/4 of an inch away. And just make sure all your hardware is away so you don't accidentally hit it with your needle. I've done that so many times. It can be scary when you break a needle. Okay, it's a little bulky. Oh no, my top thread gave out on me. Hold on. Go over the area that was acting a little like a little cross with me because it's like it's bulky Shinova. Okay. Oh, because I did not have it back there. That can explain a lot. Okay. Alright. We're almost at that home stretch of the top stitching. I feel like that always takes a little bit longer, but I like top stitching because it's just like you're almost done with the work that you created, and that's a beautiful thing. Okay, trimming threads. Oh yeah, the bobbin stitching is nice too on the back. I love when that happens, when all the tensions are aligned. So I'm going to poke out my corners again. Then I'm going to grab the lining pocket and I'm going to close the gap. And I'm just going to take, if you have like a tag, a name tag or whatnot, it could be cuter on the outside. I'm going to take one of my little cotton woven name tags, and I'm going to stick it inside the lining pocket. I like to do this because if someone buys a bag for me and they don't necessarily remember my name, if they go inside the lining, when they put something in their pocket, my name is always on there. So if they ever want me to make them something else, I'm here for them. Let me get this bobbin right. We'll close up this. We're done from sewing and really after this. I'm sewing like 1/8 of an inch to close the pocket. Alright. I'm going to tuck the pocket back inside of the bag. Zip it up. Apparently trim the threads that I thought I trimmed off the first time. So cute. Oh my god, I love this shape. Alright, so we're going to put the handle, connect the handle. And I think I'm going to rivet it because this is going through like 8 layers of cork at this point. But I'm going to show you what it looks like, and I will show you the final picture at the end with the rivets. This bag doesn't call for it, but if you have like really thick fabrics, you might want to do it so that way it holds better. Oh, this is so cute. This is so adorable. We're like done. Let me show you. This bag is amazing. How cute is that? When you don't have string all over the place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rivet it right on the top and then possibly put a rivet right here just for extra security and also just to bling out my bag. But we learned how to put in a curved zipper. We did a pocket zipper and we did a nice front zipper that's a nice detail. Oh, this bag is fun to put together. I think anyone can do it. And I really had fun with this. This is a really, I kind of want this bag for myself and then make a denim wallet. Hello, this would be super cute. And then I upcycle. So if you have something in your closet that you haven't worn but you want to repurpose it, this bag might be the thing for you. So we are done with the Luci. I understand why she like has it like kind of part of Lucille Ball. Like I can see this in something like black with gold hardware, and it's very Luci. So that is it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I'm really responsive and I'll try to help you. If I'm not able to help you, someone in this beautiful community within, you know, this channel will try to help you. I will put the links to where Sallie Tomatoes is and where you could purchase this pattern. I will also pin in the comments the coupon code you can have for 10% off. All of the hardware is Sallie Tomatoes, and this beautiful lace blue. I want like tons of this. Like I'm kind of obsessed. It is so elegant and so, I don't know, it's beautiful. Like all the details in that is just amazing. And that's it. We're done with this bag. And like I said, I will put a picture at the end, and the beginning you will see the bag with all the rivets. So if, again, any questions, please feel free to reach out. I feel like this is a great bag for any skill level. And the fact that it's only 5 pages of instructions is pretty amazing because we got a great result. So I will talk to you later. And I think this is the last tutorial for 2022. And I cannot wait till we go to 2023. 2022 has been amazing. Let's be even more spectacular in 2023. So I hope everyone has a fantastic day and stay safe and happy sewing. Bye-bye.